How's everybody doing? So we're going to continue on in Corinthians. I am setting up, to read it in New Living also because it does start to get difficult at some point. So, but anyway, let's start in King James. And base things of the world and things which are despised hath God chosen, yea, and things which are not to bring. See, we're already going to have to. God chose things despised by the world, things counted as nothing at all, and used them to bring to nothing what the world considers important. As a result, no one can ever boast in the presence of God. Nope. God has unified you with Jesus Christ for our benefit. God made him to be wisdom itself. Christ made us right with God, and Jesus was God in the flesh. It was a pathway of connecting to us. Now, Jesus, after he ascended, said he would send the Comforter, and he couldn't send the Comforter, which was him in the Spirit, until he ascended. So the Holy Spirit, of course, is God in the Spirit sense, another pathway. Let me see, Christ made us right with God. He made us pure and holy, and he freed us from sin. Therefore, as scriptures say, if you want to boast, boast only about the Lord or what the Lord has done in you or through you. When I first came to you, dear brothers and sisters, I didn't use lofty words and impressive wisdom to tell you God's secret plan. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. Very different, isn't it? So the New Living, they do twist things around quite a bit and water things down. It's a whole different translation. I mean, King James came from Textus Receptus, known as a received text, but it was written by a Catholic named Erasmus. But it's the best we have. And Erasmus believed, he was a humanist and believed in man's man over a deity. So he believed in man's free will over God, which is very satanic. And most all the churches back in the 1600s, 1700s in this country all knew about election predestination. They taught the truth in that regard. They had already sort of lost their way, I think, with, I shouldn't speak for them yet. But by the 1800s, everything started getting bastardized. The Catholic pagan Christ Mass, Christmas, the pagan holiday, first holiday or legalized in Alabama. That stuff used to be against the law in this country. Christmas was against the law. It was that pagan. It was that satanic. So I can't remember what I was talking about, but let's just continue on. For I determined not to know anything among you. Oh, the translations. So the Catholic Erasmus, Martin Luther hated the concept of free will. And there's books written that you can still get them on Amazon, where Martin Luther, who began the Protestant Reformation, hated the concept of man's free will. And he and Erasmus argued back and forth. And Erasmus is who penned "For God So Loved the World." And then the King James was also written by half Catholics and half Protestants. And I would assume those Protestants lost that battle. And excuse me, the concept of For God so loved the whole world. No way, because the whole rest of the New Testament doesn't say that at all. For God so loved, the Greek word cosmos. The first definition is what Erasmus should have used. For God so loved his harmonious arrangement that he sent his only begotten son. Yep. That's all it should have said. And that's why they take that Bible verse and shove it up your nose, because it's fake. For I determined not to know anything among you save Jesus Christ and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling, and my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor the princes of this world that come to naught. And my message and my preaching were very plain. Rather than using clever and persuasive speeches, I relied only on the power of the Holy Spirit. I did this so you would trust not in human wisdom, but in the power of God. Yet, when I'm among mature believers, I do speak with words of wisdom, but not the kind of wisdom that belongs to this world or to the rulers of this world, who are soon forgotten. Let's continue on in Nebuchadnezzar's story. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them. But they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But at last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, which of course was pagan, and in whom the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods, plural, is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of mine head in my bed, and I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. And the tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of the earth. The leaves thereof were fair, the fruit thereof much, and it was meat for all, or food for all. The beasts of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. Yes, I do try to catch the Antichrist speeches when I can. All right. Anyway, I love you very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.